Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at this really powerful piece someone shared.
Yeah,
It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? It reflects on the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, but not just as history.
right. Not just something way back then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests that our everyday stuff, our words, thoughts, actions, they still somehow connect to that huge event.
hmm
So our goal in this deep dive is really to explore that connection. How do these little things we say and think and do, how do they relate?
It's about trying to get a new perspective, maybe, on our own responsibility.
Yeah, and spark some reflection. The source basically frames the crucifixion not just as over, but as something we might still participate in through how we act.
And what jumped out at me was how it flips the script.
Yep.
It's not just observing history.
Right.
It's asking if we're involved now. It's pretty challenging, but insightful, too.
Totally. And it uses this really strong central metaphor, which I think helps. It takes the instruments of suffering.
The whip, the crown, the nails.
Yeah, the scourging whip, the thorny crown, and those rusty nails, and uses them as symbols for our words, our thoughts, and our actions.
It's quite vivid.
So that's what we'll do today. We're going to unpack these symbols, try and see what they might, mean for us listening. Okay, so let's start with the first one, the scourging whip.
Yeah, okay.
The text links this directly to our words, the impact they have.
And what's interesting there is the parallel it draws. The physical pain of a whip.
Oof.
And the, emotional or even spiritual wounds our words can inflict. It really hammers home the power of language.
It does. It references Proverbs 18.21.
Yep. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. And also Matthew 12 about being held accountable for every careless word.
That sets a high bar, doesn't it, for just chatting.
It really does. It makes you think twice.
And the text gives some pretty blunt examples of using this metaphorical whip, lashing out with sarcasm,
Gossip, slander.
cutting criticism, all that stuff. It also talks about just speaking without grace, letting anger erupt.
Right. Or choosing to curse instead of bless someone.
Yeah.
Talking behind their back, poisoning their reputation.
It even mentions betrayal, public shaming, and this phrase, wounding silence.
That one's powerful. Because it's not just the negative things we say.
It's what we don't say something.
Exactly. That silence, when maybe support or defense was needed, can be just as wounding. It broadens the scope, doesn't it?
It really does. And the text asks, point blank, are you the person lashing out with the whip? Do you wound others with your words, your attitude, or even by saying nothing? It's a direct challenge for anyone listening. Have you thought about your words that way?
As having the potential to inflict actual wounds. It's sobering.
It is. Okay, so that's the whip, our words. Let's shift gears to the second symbol, the thorny crown.
Right. And this one represents our inner thoughts.
Yeah, this gets internal, things like pride, judgment, lust, envy, bitterness.
All that stuff churning inside. And the text connects these thoughts to disrespecting or sort of denying Christ's authority.
How does it frame that, the twisting the crown idea?
Yeah, it's like when we elevate our own opinions, our own desires above what the text calls God's truth, or when we maybe mock holiness or doubt his kingship, his authority, that's when we're metaphorically pressing in those thorns.
Wow. And again, the examples are pretty specific, like entertaining judgment instead of compassion.
Or seeing other people as less than, or even devaluing ourselves, thinking maybe the sacrifice wasn't enough for us.
Yeah, that's deep. It also mentions nurturing bitterness, fantasizing about sin, dwelling in unbelief.
And it's not just the big dramatic internal struggles either, is it? It points to subtler things too.
Like what?
Well, maybe a subtle cruelty in our thoughts, a constant inner critical voice towards others or ourselves,
Yeah.
even manipulative behaviors that might stem from those hidden attitudes.
So our internal world really shapes our external actions.
Profoundly. Even if the thoughts aren't spoken, they create this filter,
That makes sense. And like before, there's a direct question for us. Are you the crown of thorns? Do you mock the lordship of Christ in subtle ways? Maybe by doubting his authority, living by your own truth, treating his word lightly.
And then it adds, whose mind have you wounded? Maybe with your judgments, even if unvoiced.
It really pushes for that internal inventory, doesn't it? Something we don't often do.
No, it's easy to just let the internal monologue run without examining it.
Okay, so we've covered the whip of words, the crown of thoughts. Now the third symbol, the rusty nail.
Representing our actions.
This feels maybe more concrete, what we actually do.
Well, yes, But what's key here, I think, is that the text includes more than just the bad things we actively do, sins of commission.
Okay.
It really highlights sins of omission, too. It brings in James 4.1 over.
Which says?
So for one who knows the right thing to do and does not do it, for him it is sin.
Ah, right. So the nail isn't just for doing wrong, it's also for not doing right when we know we should.
Exactly. It covers both our harmful actions and our failures to act.
Okay, that broadens it quite a bit. And the examples reflect that, right? Failing to show up for someone.
Neglecting responsibilities, breaking promises, violating trust.
Exploiting others, rejecting someone's dignity. These are pretty serious actions.
They are. And it also talks about clinging to sin, refusing repentance, that feeling of just one more time.
Yeah.
The text frames that as hammering those nails in deeper.
Wow. It also mentions holding people to their past mistakes, right? Preventing healing.
Yes, actions that cause lasting damage, or inaction that prevents progress. It's all bundled under this symbol of the nail.
And the challenge to the listener is just as direct. Are you the rusty nail? Have you knowingly fastened yourself to sin again and again? Are you clinging to unrepentant habits?
And then crucially, who have you left hanging? Whose reputation, progress, or healing have you nailed to a cross of judgment? By your actions or maybe your inaction.
It forces you to think about the ripple effects, the consequences of what we do or fail to do.
It really underscores that interconnectedness. Our choices matter. They impact others. And this text links that impact directly back to the crucifixion narrative. It's about taking responsibility.
Okay. So we've gone through these three pretty heavy symbols.
Yeah.
The whip, the crown, the nails. Connecting our words, thoughts, actions to this historical suffering, it's quite sobering.
It is. It definitely paints a challenging picture of our potential complicity.
But the text doesn't just leave us there feeling condemned, does it? It moves towards grace, towards hope.
Absolutely. And this is like the crucial pivot point. After showing us how we might still be wounding Christ, metaphorically speaking,
Yeah.
it introduces what it calls the scandal of grace, this almost unbelievable idea that despite everything, the one we have wounded still welcomes us, and the hands we nailed still reach for us. It's a powerful image of forgiveness, of reconciliation being possible.
So it acknowledges our part in the hurt through our words, thoughts, actions.
Right. Doesn't minimize that.
But then it offers this incredible message of hope. Like, even though we might, deserve the consequences.
The text suggests Christ took those consequences. He absorbed that pain.
Which opens up a path.
To mercy, yeah. And to transformation, to actually living differently. It's not just about feeling bad. It's about the possibility of real change.
And that leads to the very end of the piece, doesn't it? The invitation.
Yes. The call to choose to lay them down today.
The whip, the crown, the nails, these symbols of our harmful patterns.
It emphasizes our agency. We can actually make a different choice. Step away from those destructive ways of being, speaking, thinking, acting.
It's a really powerful note to end on, a call to action.
Definitely. It shifts from reflection to decision.
Okay. So as we wrap up this deep dive, maybe we can leave everyone with a final thought to mull over.
Yeah.
Thinking about these three symbols, we've unpacked the whip of words, the crown of thoughts, the nail of actions. Which one maybe resonates most strongly with you right now in the season of your life?
That's a good reflection question.
Because the text suggests that just recognizing that tendency, seeing it clearly, might be the first, most vital step towards the hope and change it talks about.
Towards embodying that transformation.
Exactly. So the question to sit with is, what might it actually look like practically for you today to begin to lay them down?